What's up, players? It's Dan Walls from Illumination Wall Art once again, back in the studio with a haircut. And today, on this live stream, I'm going to be painting this big snake behind me. It's for the zoo room at Sunderland Hospital again. If you've been tuning in, you can see the series of all the work I've been doing on the zoo room. And if you keep tuning in and subscribe, you can be able to see me do a lot of the work on all 17 rooms with all different themes and characters and all sorts of different things I'm going to be doing. So, today, I'm just going to put this down on. I'm sorry that you guys didn't see me actually line it in. I will do something on lining in when I start, but I want to have something to do for a thumbnail, really, to catch people's eyes. I know I'm only just starting out, and it's not the best at the moment. Let's pop this on here so you can see me. There we go. So, to start off, what I'm doing is I'm giving it a coat of acrylic paint. It's just like a mocha brown sort of colour. Not too dark, but kind of a mid-tone, just to get it all in first. Because if you start off with a base tone of acrylic, it does a couple of things. It gives something for the paint to stick to, it builds texture, and if you start dark, it gives you your base colour to work off over, so you're not using loads of spray paint right away. And with this being acrylic, it is plastic, and it's plastic on this Corex board behind me, and the two of them will dry together and be an easy surface to work on, and it'll also be wipeable and hard wearing, because this is going to be in a hospital, so we need to make sure that it can be wiped clean. At the end of this as well, with the spray paint, I am going to be putting a layer of lacquer over the top of it anyway, like a lacquer varnish on all the boards to make sure they can be cleaned down perfectly. Pushing this in here. These brushes are probably a little bit too big for what I'm doing, but that should be fine. I'm just going to buzz all these in around here like this. Bring it all in like that. If you're just tuning in to this stream and finding the videos, my name is Dan Walls from Illumination Wall Art. I run a mural painting business where I paint large scale things like this snake on kids' bedroom walls. I also do work in hospitals, pubs, clubs, restaurants. I do work on vehicles. I'm currently working on my friend's fish tank Nissan Micra, which he's hollowed out and turned it into an aquarium. That's my friend Andy from Dramatic Aquatics. If you want to check that out, that's a really good channel. There's loads of fantastic content on there. And generally what I'm doing is doing live streams every day at different times, just to try and test the water, see who's watching and see who's tuning in. Eventually what I want to do is get this channel up to 100 subscribers. That would be great, because then I can start monetizing and maybe do a bit of super chat where I can get donations. That would be brilliant. But I'm not looking for that as the main goal. I'm just wanting to paint and have a good time. But if I can get that, that would be fantastic. So I'm just going to be flinging this around all over. It's not going to be massively interesting, this section, because it is just flicking loads of gross brown paint all over the top of this python. Just flinging it in here. I am pretty much just learning how to live stream at the moment. I haven't really got the gist of it just yet. I am using a mobile phone, so a lot of the options on it aren't available to me. However, what I am going to do is, while we don't have much going on, I am going to send this to my Facebook, so I'll be 1 second. Oh, this is a nightmare. So much stuff going on in this Facebook link. There we go. I'll paint a few. There we go. So there we go, sorry about that. I am working on my phone, so it's a little bit difficult. There we go, perfect. So yeah, should get some people coming in at some point. Anyone's got any questions, please leave comments and I'll try and read through them as I paint. Sorry if I miss anybody out, but here we go. So we're just filling this in. We're not looking to do anything massively impressive at the moment. We are just putting it in here. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going with a dark brown for the top and a slightly lighter brown at the bottom, just so we've got a bit of a guideline for where we go later on. Working up to this brown Sharpie line that I've put in, so we can hide it out later on. I marked this in with just permanent marker. Wilkinson's got their own brand permanent markers and they also use Sharpie for different colours. And it doesn't matter too much if you go over the lines, because with this paint being slightly transparent, I can look over it later and just hit the lines in again. There we go, lovely. That's all that on one side there. I'm going to put a little bit around this bit. There's going to be a branch as well going over him. I will make some really dark brown now. Well, maybe just, I might even go with black for the branch, just so we've got solid definition. So we know exactly where he's going. That's going over the top, that's going in behind. That's sound. Yeah. I'll pop it in along the bottom of his belly here as well. Well, not his belly's on the other side, but this will be his back. Just quickly flinging it in. Just remember, we are going to be going over with spray paint. So that has pretty much got that guy in there. What I'm going to do now is mix up some black. And I'm going to put the black in the branch itself, because that way we can distinguish where the snake is and where the branch is. Oh, I'll be 1 second. It's mixed up. Yeah. This is going to be quite dark, the whole thing. But later on we're going to be adding lighter tones. It's just a case of knowing where things are. So it's going to be black for the branch. This here is the darkest brown. And I'm going to be going with, yeah, that's a lighter brown. I'm going to be going with a darker brown all the way along the bottom. Just going to make sure we've got plenty of black. There we go. So, where the branch is going to be, we're just going to make that black for now. You'll notice as well I'm working very, very close to the side of the Corex. This is because it's going to be easier to cut out at the end, because I'm going to be cutting all this out, sealing the sides and then mounting it to a wall in the hospital. So I'm just working right close so we can use as much Corex as possible. I'm going to try and save as much as possible as well, so any offcuts I'll use for like smaller bits for making stencils, maybe for leaves, butterflies. Generally loads of little bits for more of the rooms. Put all this in here, be careful not to go over the lines. There we go. And I'm putting like kind of a texture in this branch, so when you spray over it, it'll have that kind of wood effect, like the bark on the tree. So I'm just kind of making it quite long, not going up and down, but I'm going more side to side with my brush strokes to build up that rough sort of texture. So that will be going through there. This branch here is going to be going, let's move this chair over. Yeah, this branch here is going underneath and out, so that's popping out that side, and this one is just going under the back end of his tail. Well, her tail. I don't know. Anyone sexist snake here? I don't know. I'm gonna say she's a girl. I'll just hide all this out like that. That's really good. So maybe some of you guys will be seeing this later on once it's gone live. Some of the people. I think I might have to try and do some later live streams, but I'm anxious to get this this job finished, so I want to kind of do a full day's work on it. But if anyone's got any questions, then by all means stick them in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them next time I'm online. Or maybe do a video just on questions that people want to know. It's starting to look really nice now, coming together. There's also a side branch here coming off this one, so I'm going to put that in here. So that's all that blacked in, and then I'm just going to do the back bit here. This branch kind of goes a little bit too thin in places. It kind of goes thick to thin. It's supposed to go thick to thin, but this one kind of gets a bit too wide. So I'm just going to seal this gap up here where it touches the snake. I'll just wipe that in later. Because if you're cutting it out, you don't want to leave any little gaps because it's a bit fiddly and a bit of a nightmare to get done. To figure out. Oh, we're getting there now. Pop it underneath here like that. And I'll cut that off to there. I don't want to use the full width of the drawing because I don't like how wide it is. I'm just going to connect it to this branch here. And leave it at that. So there we go. So we're getting somewhere now. It's all the blacks in. And we've got the lighter tone of the snake. I'm going to go with just regular raw umber. Raw right out of the right out the tin. Out the tube, should I say, not tin. I'm just going to buzz that all the way along the bottom of this snake. So I will find this brown. There it is. This is just Colvin & Co. I got this from a pound shop. It's decent enough. If you get acrylic paint is there's some better quality than others, but if you're going to be using, well, painting murals, you're going to be using a lot of it. You're better off getting the cheaper stuff, just so you're not using tube after tube of stuff that costs you 20 quid. You want to get what you can out of it. Like I said, this is just going to be the bit for the very basic start of this snake that we're going to be spraying over later. Just it keeps the costs down, and like I said, it gives it a really nice base to work off of. So all of this here underneath this line, we're just going to be making that dark, apart from the belly bit here. That's where it's going to be like a creamy kind of colour. Work this all the way around, nice and gentle, going up to that line there. Doesn't matter if you go over the details, you can always put them in later. I might do them in an orange later on. Just very quickly, you're putting in this dark brown colour right over the top. Remember, you're not going into the face as well, because that face is going to be cream like its belly. This bit in here is going to be dark brown though, so we'll put that in there for later so we know the crack. And we're just going to flick this right up and under. Like that. Now some of this is hitting the other paint from before in places, but it doesn't matter too much. This is a darker tone, so that will dwarf the lighter if it hits it. I'm going to pop that in there very, very lightly. There we go, we're getting there now, bit by bit. And I've missed off a bit of black in there, but I need to use a smaller brush anyway, so that doesn't matter too much. So we're just going to avoid this branch here. There we go. Now, I know it's early days yet, but I'm thinking for this snake on the branch, I'm going to maybe cut some stencils of maple leaves and go with red. Bright reds to kind of go right over the top of it, so it's got some really bright, vibrant colours, just to hide off all this brown, because there's a lot of brown in this, and brown's quite a boring colour if you do a lot of it. So yeah, I think some bright red maple leaves, bright reds and oranges in this, just to lift it a little bit, just so it's not so boring colour wise. There's a little patch in here as well that we need just get rid of. For those of you that don't know, I'm using the wide of the brush for the very thick bits, like this. Whole wide of the brush there, and for the side, just for the little thin bits, you want to flip it over and just use the very, very corner of the brush. I'll show you here a little bit, just so you can get a close-up of what I'm planning. So here, you want to just use the very side of the brush and just little tiny bits in there. Just to pick up any bits that you may have missed. So wide for the big thick bits. And just pop it out like that. There. And fill that gap up there. Let's pop it up there. So yeah, we're getting somewhere with it now. This end here needs more dark brown in this top bit. And then we want to just finish off the bit in the face that we started with this line, so we know that this is where we're putting the dark. Once again, corner of the brush, just very gently following the line, nice and slowly, taking our time because we don't want to mess it up. And across the bridge of the nose. Battery is low, I will have to put the battery on in 1 minute. Hello, whoever's tuned in. How's it going? So just popping that in there slowly, going with the dark colour, just to put in the little bits that would be following along the bottom of the snake. Yeah, it's looking very, very rough for now, but this is just to start things off. All the way along here like that. I'm just going to go and plug this phone in. I'll be 2 minutes, guys. Hopefully it will reach, and it will. Brilliant. 1 minute. There we are. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not the most professional live streamer. I've only just started. I'm trying to improve and find my audience and see what's happening. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I will see if I can catch them and answer a couple of questions while I'm painting. There we are. Brilliant. And just along here as well, let's pop into the tail. Just taking our time, once again, nice and slow. Taking our time. Pop it right the way along here as well, following the lines. And just along here as well. So there we have it, guys. We've got quite a bit of it done just for the basics so far, just so we can see what's happening with it. What I'm going to do now is wash this brush out, and then I'm going to go... Oh no, wait, before I do, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I need to black in the rest of this thing here, this branch. So I'm just using the same brush because it's a dark brown colour, going in with black, so the black should just take over that dark brown completely. I'm just going to pop it in here as well, just to finish off this little branch. This is just the base coat as well. We're not going too difficult just yet. Just putting it in and seeing what happens once it dries. Because after this, I'm going to crack out the spray paint and give it loads and loads of depth and loads of texture and some nicer colours in it, rather than just all this dark black and brown that I'm flinging in. That's looking good. I'm going to wash this brush out, be back in 5. And I'm back. So what I'm going to do is take that brown from before, the lighter brown, and I'm going to mix it with some yellow and some whites. I'm just using Colvin & Co. Cheap acrylic paint I got from my pound shop. I normally use this sort of stuff because if you're using something to do a huge mural with, you don't want to be spending 25 quid on a little tube. You want to be using cheap and cheerful stuff where there's lots of it, because that helps you cover the spaces better. Once it dries as well, it's perfect for spray painting, or because it's got like a really nice texture and a good solid base for working on, especially with plastic, because Corex plastic with plastic based paint, it dries rock hard and it just sticks to it. It adheres really well. So where is that? Yeah, I'm going to be going again with this lighter brown and just squeezing in loads of this white like that, and a little bit of this yellow, because we're making a creamy sort of brown colour for it. Same brush again that's been washed out. You don't want to be going in with black because it'll ruin whatever lighter colour you want to put in. And we're getting quite a nice colour, like this sort of creamy brown sort of colour, which is kind of near what I want. But not exact. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm going to go with that, I think. Once again, we're just putting it in rough. We're not going to go too mental as yet. And just starting up here with the back end of this snake. all the way down and along to there. Just popping it in like that. Someone's liked the video, thank you very much, mate, much appreciated. Being very, very careful as well not to go into this brown tint colour of that. Doesn't matter if you leave gaps because you can always hit it again at the end with more marker pen to put your lines back in. See there a little bit, it's done it and it's changed the colour ever so slightly. Doesn't matter though, we'll get there. I'm going to have to switch seats again over this side. And with this side, we're going to do his little face here, little nose, and his teeth and his mouth. Just flicking it in underneath there like that. Now this is a very, very thin line. You can see the corner of this mouth, so I'm just going to go with the side of the brush again, load it up with paint, and just very, very gently just drag it down. Trying to keep within the lines as best we can, not touching the tongue at the end. There we go. That's in there, and then we just fling these bits in. Like this. As you can see there, it's all in there, very, very rough for now, but it will be great once we're finished. I'm going to do some pink in the mouth and in his tongue. This is some stuff I mixed up last night when I did the monkeys. I'm just kind of keeping it there. It's a bit clogged up with like thick plastic, but we'll do what we can for now with this brush, just to dab it in the mouth area and all over the tongue as well, leaving the fangs white obviously. And just filling in the rest of the mouth like this. Once again, we're not being too precious with it because it's not the final outcome. We're just doing this to put the very basics in, so we've got something to work with later. That's that bit. And I'm going to do the tongue the same colour as well, but I'm just going to make sure we've got that line in there so we know exactly where we're going with it. This isn't the best brush, I'm going to have to get some more later on because a little bit all over the place, but I'll grab some more at the weekend and do some more precise work with it. But it will do for now. Like I say, it's not gonna do a whole lot for the final outcome. And there we go, we have the first stages of this big boa constrictor. I'm going to pop this off here and just show you some close-ups. I know the battery's low. So that's the very start of it. It's not brilliant, but if you tune in later on, once this is completely dry, then I will show you how I'm going to finish it off with spray paint. I'm going to tune out now, guys, and I'll see you maybe in the afternoon. Well, that sort of time. While I work on something else. See you soon.